Welcome back to the channel from Cozumel, Mexico's best known Caribbean island. As you can see, I'm on a sparkling white sand beach that seems to run forever. And as you can also see, I seem to have it all to myself. There's a little secret about Cozumel. Sure, it's a popular cruise ship port, and the only town on the island can be overwhelmed at times. But the secret is that not many of those people on the cruise ships venture out to the eastern shore, which is not only paradisaic, but virtually empty.
If you rent a car, getting here is easy. Take the highway east from the town of San Miguel to the oceanfront, turn right at the beach, and go as far as your heart desires. In my case, that means the southern tip of the island at Punta Sur Ecological Preserve, where the road gets bumpy and sandy, and my first stop is at this lagoon with a nifty observation deck.
So this is just one of many lagoons in the park that actually have fish. Local told me that there are red snapper, gray snapper, and of course there are crocodiles. So our friend over my shoulder may look like a statue, but believe me, he's very much alive. Well, this guy looks about 7 feet long, considerably larger than crocodile number 1.
As these Mayan ruins across the road from the lagoon attest, people here have been getting along with the crocodiles for a long time. Beneath the waters, just beyond those breakers, one of the world's great coral reefs.
I'm here in a mangrove swamp in Punta Sur, a 247-acre ecological park at the far south end of the island. It's renowned for its unspoiled beaches, its coral reefs just offshore, and of course for many lagoons, such as this one. It is absolutely still here. There's no one around at the moment where I am. Well, I see a couple of people headed down the trail, but very peaceful. I just had a long-tailed raccoon visitor a moment ago. Maybe I'll scrounge up another one. If I see one, I'll show him to you. But just a lovely place that few people, relatively speaking, come to when they come to Cozumel.
At the very bottom of the island, call it the tip of the tip, you'll find another lonely beach and this lighthouse. I'm a sucker for lighthouses, and this one has postcard views out every window.
propios nietos, ¿eh? Te lo juro. Mira hacia el horizonte nada más.
Note, you'll have to duck and crawl to get on the observation deck.
One can look 360 degrees and see all of the island and beyond.
All in all, I'd say a great way to spend a day on Cozumel.
Good morning. I've had another delightful night's sleep at my accommodation, which I'd like to give a quick shout out to, even though it's not sponsored. And that is the Apartamento Bizantino, which I found on booking.com. Large, spacious apartment with a fully equipped kitchen, air conditioning, ceiling fans, a king-size bed, and great Wi-Fi. Need I say more? Cozumel is about 16 kilometers off the eastern shore of the Yucatan Peninsula. And that shoreline collectively is referred to as the Riviera Maya, developed extensively for tourism over the last several decades. So today we're going to Playa del Carmen, the city closest to Cozumel. Going to take the ferry. It's about a 35-minute ferry ride and proceed to our ultimate destination, which is the ancient ruins of Tulum, about 60 kilometers to the south of Playa. So let's get going.
Nada más. Te cuesta $100 ir y volver.
Ok, gracias.
$100, recorrido 5 horas, ¿sí? Te paseo por allá y te regreso.
Sí, entiendo. My first offer in Playa del Carmen is a $100 round-trip cab ride to Tulum.
I opted for a $5 deluxe bus, one way. Out past the Sam's Club, the Riviera Maya's main north-south artery opens up. The trip is about an hour, station to station.
And this is Tulum. If you're like me and can remember when Tulum was a tiny village cut out of the jungle next to the ruins from which it gets its name, you've got to be disheartened about what has happened and what is happening to this place. Back in the day, Tulum billed itself as the anti-Cancun, an eco-destination of unspoiled natural beauty. But you can pretty much forget about that, because much, granted not all, but much of the natural beauty here has been sacrificed to unbridled development. Cue up Joni Mitchell. They really have paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
Let's make a clear distinction between Tulum the town and Tulum the ruin. The ruin you don't want to miss.
Besides possibly being the most breathtaking spot the Maya chose to build a city, looking out over the Caribbean and with its own white sand beach, Tulum was a heavily fortified port for the city of Coba, the ruins of which are just a few miles from here. Among the spectacular buildings here that are so well preserved is the Temple of the Frescoes, an ancient astronomical observatory the Maya used to track the movements of the sun. You can still see the figurines of the Maya diving god, or Venus figures, on the building's facade. And you can also see the stucco figure of the diving god at the entrance to the western side of the building. This structure was a house. It's one of the few that can actually pass through on the archaeological site. It was built and later expanded, apparently, so that one end of it covers a cenote. The temple behind me, which sits directly over the beach, was devoted to the god of the wind. Many Mesoamerican groups in ancient times worshipped the wind god. The Maya called him Kukulkan.
Tulum's Great Pyramid, referred to as the Castle, occupies the site's most prominent location and appears to be the structure around which it was organized.
Inside the upper part is a small shrine that archaeologists believe may have been used as a beacon for incoming canoes. It's built precisely at the point where there's a break in the sea cliffs, the perfect spot for trading vessels to come in, and it's likely a main reason that the Maya chose to build Tulum where they did.
I took a colectivo, or combi, for the slow trudge back to Playa.
Well, I'm back in Playa del Carmen, and as you can probably tell, it's considerably more lively than it was this morning when I passed through.
Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones.
And finally, the midnight ferry to Cozumel. There's definitely something to be said for island life in this part of the Caribbean.
I'm back in San Miguel de Cozumel. I started to say the main town on the island, but it's the only town on the island. Cozumel has a population of about 100,000 people, and about 70,000 of them live here. As you can tell, it's a rather chill place, and now during the golden hour, it's really a very pleasant place to be.
At dusk, there's a sort of gravitational pull to the Malecón. The sunset here is like a song. And the music, the voices of family, friends, and strangers.